Isarabhakdi, Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Thailand. His Excellency, Mr. Songpol Sukchan, Ambassador of Thailand to Indonesia. His Excellency, Mr. Denny Adhi, Director for Southeast Asia, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Indonesia. Mr. Diki Komar, Charge d'Affaires of the Embassy of Indonesia in Bangkok. Distinguished speakers and moderator, esteemed representatives from government and businesses from Indonesia and Thailand, ladies and gentlemen. A very good morning to all of you, and welcome to the Business Forum on Turning a Crisis into Opportunity, Enhancing Indonesia and Thailand Trade and Investment in the Era of Disruption and Uncertainty of COVID-19 Pandemic. This event is organized through the collaboration of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Thailand, the Royal Thai Embassy in Jakarta, and the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Bangkok. This business forum is part of a series of commemorative events for the celebration of 70 years of diplomatic relations between the Republic of Indonesia and the Kingdom of Thailand. To commence this forum, I wish to invite His Excellency, Mr. Mahendra Siregar, Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs of Indonesia, to deliver his opening remarks.
Thank you. Very good morning to everybody, colleagues. Excellency Vice Minister Isarabhakdi, Excellency Ambassador Suchan, Excellency Director Denny Adhi, dear colleagues, business delegates, participants, it's my honor to be here, to be part of this very timely and excellent opportunity for us to meet, to discuss opportunities and how we enhance that despite the pandemic and the economic crisis that has caused by it. And I think this is very much the spirit that we have to uphold during this difficult situation. And of course, this is part of the commemoration of the 70th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Indonesia and Thailand. I understand that initially we had planned to organize an offline business forum to commemorate this special event. But of course, now we have this new normal, new way of doing business and government activities and other events through the online platform. And I think this new normal is even encourage us to do more because we have the ability to engage and to include more participants in this meeting. The COVID-19 pandemic has certainly become a crisis that history will chronicle for ages. And not only has it taken the form of the health crisis, but of course, it also turned into a global economic crisis. The IMF called this crisis the crisis like no other, which means, of course, it is unprecedented. And it is also require unprecedented actions, responses, partnerships, and synergy to address the impact of that. And of course, such solutions include strengthening bilateral economic ties between partners. And in that context, Thailand is an important economic partner of Indonesia, but at the same time, it's been a long-standing partner, and of course, the original partner and founder of ASEAN. Indonesia and Thailand are also the two largest economies in ASEAN. The trade between us in 2019 reached $15 billion. Investment between the two countries are also at a respectable number and growing. Indonesia has become home to many Thai businesses, including some large names of corporations like Siam Cement and its group, Sharong Pokpan, Bangkok Bank, and many other industries and companies in different sectors. Thailand has also become the new home for Indonesian businesses, including one of the earliest technology unicorn, Gojek. This technology company's presence is a new example how certain businesses can manage and thrive during the pandemic. And of course, with many participants in this meeting come from food and beverage sector, this food delivery applications and solutions are considered as one of primary services that would be able to support the increase and strength of this industry. There are many other areas of potential cooperation that have not been fully tapped into. For our discussions, of course, again, the food and beverage sector would hold tremendous opportunities that can be benefited by both countries. In this regard, Indonesia provides opportunities for Thailand investment and companies in the food and beverages industry, ranging from agriculture, fishing, to processing and cold storage. And on that note, I think it's important also learning from the early part of the pandemic period when we faced difficulty at the regional and global level in addressing the global value chain, logistical challenges, and many other hurdles related to that. And the one lesson learned that we should take into account and use as a background of further and stronger partnership is to identify potential, how to integrate our two countries' industries part of the regional and global value chain. I know, and I have actually facilitated our two industries in the apparel and textile sectors discussion to identify how one would become partner with the other, looking at the whole value chain, and could even replace parts of the chain that have been too heavily dependent on economies and based outside ASEAN and outside our countries. Because now ASEAN, and certainly with RCEP going to be signed hopefully this month, it means that ASEAN as a group and ASEAN member states are not only part of the global manufacturing factory, but also becoming much larger economies as part of the global consumption. So it is very important for our companies, our industries, to look at Indonesia, Thailand, its potential synergy, integration, and partnership from a new perspective that would be able to diversify the risk of too dependent on particular global value chain that is obviously sensitive, proven by the condition and challenges that we face during the COVID-19. So I sincerely hope that the discussion would go beyond the buying and selling of the industries. Look deeply and thoroughly in the opportunities ranging from the most upstream sector to the downstream sector. Look into the financing part. Look into the services. Look into the integrated possibilities of the value chain, so then you would recognize fully the potentials of Indonesia, of Thailand, both entrepreneurs' skills and ASEAN. And with that, it would even strengthen our resilience and our opportunity to further sustainable growth. In closing, I wish all of us a fruitful and successful meeting and deliberation. And may friendship and cooperation between Thailand and Indonesia continue flourishing in the years ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And now I wish to invite His Excellency, Mr. Vijavat Isarabhakdi, the Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs of Thailand, to deliver his opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Your Excellency, Mr. Mahendra Siregar, Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs of Indonesia, distinguished participants and moderators, ladies and gentlemen. Sawadee krab and selamat pagi to all participants. I must admit to feeling a bit out of place in this suit and tie, and I wish I had a beautiful batik Indonesian shirt like most of the participants on this panel, so I will have to ask our ambassador in Jakarta to help arrange that. But first of all, I would like to thank the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia for organizing today's business forum on turning a crisis into opportunity, enhancing Indonesia and Thailand trade and investment in the era of disruption and uncertainty of the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you especially for inviting me to be a part of this special event. It is also wonderful to see my colleague, Vice Minister Mahendra Siregar again, after we served briefly together as our country's representatives on the APEC Vision Group, just before he was appointed ambassador to the United States and then went on to even higher posts. And I thank him very much for his very thoughtful remarks. Distinguished participants, today's forum clearly illustrates the common resolve of both Thailand and Indonesia to maintain the close engagement between our two countries and not to let the current pandemic stand in the way of our cooperation. Along these lines, let me say, therefore, what a distinct honor it is for me to welcome all of you on behalf of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Thailand to this business forum, which also marks the momentous occasion of the 70th anniversary of Thailand-Indonesia diplomatic relations this year, as the distinguished moderator has noted. Indeed, although the formal diplomatic ties between Thailand and Indonesia were established just 7 decades ago, our historical and cordial relationship goes back centuries. The close bonds between our peoples, emanating from years of cultural, social, and economic exchanges, form the strong bedrock of our relations and have contributed significantly to our partnership beyond the bilateral level. As founders and original members of ASEAN, Thailand and Indonesia have worked closely together for the peace and stability of the region. This in turn has provided ample opportunities for economic growth for both our nations. Internationally, we also share a number of common goals and continually stand side by side on the world stage. Ladies and gentlemen, while the current COVID-19 pandemic has caused unimaginable impacts on our countries and the wider global economy, it is most encouraging to see that we are doing our utmost to turn this crisis into opportunity. It is an opportunity for us to build back better, as well as an opportunity to advance our cooperation by focusing on issues that could help to strengthen our economies and peoples in the long run. I am therefore delighted that the focus of today's forum is on the food and beverage industry. This topic directly relates to the issue of food security and food safety, on which Thailand places high priority. Last year, our country was proud to be the second largest food exporter in Asia and the 11th largest in the world, with an export value of around 33 billion US dollars. And despite the formidable challenges of this ongoing pandemic, Thailand has still managed to maintain a food surplus and to continue our food exports to other countries around the world, especially rice, tuna, tapioca, and sugar, among others. Thailand's agricultural and food industries are continuously striving to make best use of advanced technologies to improve productivity and quality. We feel privileged to play an active part in the global food supply chain and wish to reaffirm our long-standing goal of being kitchen of the world. To this end, Thailand looks forward to working with Indonesia, our close friend and partner, to further expand our cooperation on food security and food safety. Thai companies in this sector are eager for new investment opportunities and would welcome the chance to collaborate with Indonesian partners. Such collaboration would undoubtedly be mutually beneficial for both our countries and peoples. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today's business forum will, no doubt, provide a valuable opportunity for the key players in this industry to discuss and exchange views on the abundant opportunities as well as challenges for closer cooperation between our countries. I hope you will make full use of this forum to address relevant issues on how to promote greater investment flows between our countries. In particular, I hope that you will look at matters such as regulatory barriers, incentives, the utilization of digital technology, and e-commerce platforms, among other things. In this way, today's session should be able to provide meaningful inputs for our government agencies and private sectors on both sides to find new avenues for a more dynamic economic partnership between our countries. In closing, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to express my sincere appreciation once again to all involved in making this business forum possible. I wish the forum every success, and I look forward to learning the results of your deliberations. Khop khun krap and terima kasih.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Excellencies, I would now like to invite you and all participants for a virtual group photo. So I will ask my colleague if he's ready. Are we ready? Yes, we are. 1 second. Okay, on my cue, Excellency. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And then one more, just to be sure. All right. 1 and 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellencies. We thank you for having graced this business forum with your wise words of encouragement for the enhancement of relations between our two countries. Thank you very much. And now we will continue with our proceedings. Wish to invite our moderator for today, Ms. Arisya Pusponegoro. I will make a brief introduction about our moderator. She is a partner at Linda Widyati and Pusponegoro Law Firm that specializes in corporate law. Ms. Pusponegoro herself is an expert in financing and banking law, as well as investments, energy, and infrastructure. Previously, she was a partner at Clifford Chance Indonesia and Lubis Gani Surawijoyo, in which she handled major clients such as Charun Pokpan Group Indonesia. She is a graduate of the Faculty of Law of the University of Indonesia and Harvard University Law School. Ms. Arisya, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Puguh Priambodo, for the introduction. Thank you, His Excellency, the Vice Foreign Minister of Indonesia, His Excellency, Mr. Mahendra Siregar, and also the Vice Foreign Minister of Thailand, His Excellency, Mr. Vijavat Isarabhakdi. To continue our discussion, I would like first to remind you for the participant to again register through the registration link provided. To give a little bit of context to what we are going to discuss today, as has been mentioned by His Excellency, the COVID-19 pandemic has created not just a health crisis, but also an economic crisis. And what is unique about this crisis is that it is global in its scope. It is unlike the Asian financial crisis of 1997 or 98. And it is also unlike the 2008 financial crisis, which primarily triggered by and affected banks and financial institutions. This time, the crisis affected the entire supply and demand chain and caused the global economy to go into recession. However, as the theme of our discussion today suggests, there are opportunities in crisis. Yes, there are challenges, but these challenges have forced us to be flexible, adapt quickly, and most importantly, to be innovative. So what are we going to discuss today are ways to turn the challenges into trade and investment, and to echo the message of our distinguished vice ministers, is also to improve our cooperation, collaboration, and strengthen our ability to face the crisis between Indonesia and Thailand. We have a very distinguished panel of speakers today. We have 5 speakers, the first of which is Bapak Adhi Lukman. We also have Bapak Kenneth Lee. We also have Kun Napatupun, Bapak Muhammad Faisal, and lastly, but certainly not least, Kuntus Tangsombat. I will read out their CV before each of the presentation. So before we begin, I would just like to introduce several house rules for our seminar today. First, each of the panelists will present their presentation for around 50 minutes. And after the completion of the presentation, we will have a Q&A session, question and answers. And I will first take 3 questions and continue to take questions for about 1 hour. Please write down your question in the chat box. I would also like you to provide your name and your institution. and possible to which panelist your question is addressed, or if there is no particular panelist, or if you would like all the panelists to address your question. Now, firstly, I would like to introduce Bapak Adhi Lukman. Bapak Adhi Lukman is, of course, a very familiar name. You would often see his name on the news like I do, being quoted by journalists on issues relating to Indonesian food and beverages. Bapak Adhi Lukman is, of course, the head of the Indonesian Food and Beverage Association, or GAPNI. He is also the chairman of the Permanent Committee for Development of Food Industry, Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or KADIN. He's a working member of the working team of Indonesian National Productivity Board, member of the Expert Working Group of National Food Security Council, member of National Codex Committee, Executive Board of ASEAN Food and Beverage Alliance, Beachhead Advisor to East Asia Network, New Zealand Government, and Coordinator for Industrial Government Relationship Division of the Indonesian Association of Food Technologies. Bapak Adhi Lukman graduated from IPB University, Faculty of Agricultural Engineering and Technology, Food Technology, and Human Nutrition. Bapak Adhi, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Moderator Arisya. Thank you for introducing me. And also, I would like to thank you for Indonesia and Thailand for inviting me for sharing today regarding the commemoration 70 years of Indonesia-Thailand's relationship. Okay, I would like to share about the. Please wait a moment. Okay. Excellency, Ms. Ambassador of Indonesia and also Thailand, and also the Vice Minister Indonesia and Foreign Affairs Indonesia and also Thailand, and all participants. Today I would like to share about the turning a crisis into opportunity. And how to enhancing Indonesia and Thailand trade and investment in the era of disruption and uncertainty of COVID-19 pandemic. Of course, I would share about the food and beverage industry as an example for how to enhancing Indonesia-Thailand trade and investments. First, I would share about the food and beverage industry in Indonesia as a glance. So, as you know, the food and beverage industry is one of the important industry in Indonesia, and also because Indonesia is a big population, the fourth largest population in the world, and also the expenditure for food per capita is quite significant. For food is around almost 50%, and processed foods contribute around 17%. So this is a very significant contribution of food and beverage industry in Indonesia. As well as the investment in the food and beverage industry always growing from time to time. And you can see during the pandemic COVID-19, foreign direct investments is growing around 14% from January to September 2020 compared to last year. So this is indicating that the prospect of food and beverage industry in Indonesia is quite good and a big opportunity for food and beverage industry in Indonesia. And if we see the investment realization during the pandemic COVID, January-September 2020, Thailand in the rank 18th of all the investment in Indonesia. Specific, if we see the food and beverage industry investment from Thailand, during the 2017 to 2019, the foreign Thailand investment only 1.75%, and during the January-September 2020, during the pandemic, total investment of food and beverage industry in Thailand is around 4.2% of total Thailand investment in Indonesia. So it's quite small for investment in Thailand in Indonesia. So that's why we have a big opportunity, huge opportunity for investment in Indonesia. So we would like to invite Thailand side for collaboration with Indonesian companies to invest in Indonesia to seize the opportunity. We have a vision for Indonesia 2045, which is 100 years in Indonesia. The GDP per capita, our government predict become $23,000 US. Current GDP is around 4,000. So you can imagine how big the opportunity for fulfilling the demand of when the GDP per capita is in a significant high. And unfortunately, during the COVID pandemic 19, our household consumption is contractions, minus 4.04%. And economic also contractions, minus 3.49% in the third quarter year on year. Fortunately, F&B industry is still growing 0.66%. So this is the showing that the still good opportunity for F&B industry. Yes, in the impact of the food and impact of COVID-19 for food and beverage industry, many activities stopped, especially the tourism's vacations and activities, hotel, restaurants. But some food categories still good increase in the consumption. For example, the milk industry, spices, cooking oil, biscuit, instant food, and others nutritional foods. So this is and also e-commerce during the pandemic is significantly increased. And in manufacturing, we also manage according to the health protocol and we do more human-machine interface for keep our capacity and productivity in place. So that's why we will remanage our manufacturing site with less of human-to-human contact. And this is the government initiative to implement the health protocol, and also our association working together with the Ministry of Industry released a new normal guideline for food and beverage industry. This is very detailed, the guidelines, so we can use this to show to the public and consumers that we do the right way to keep our products safe and build the public trust for the consumers. And for those, we also doing strengthening the national industry. I think we can work collaboration with the Thailand side for implement the strengthening the national industry. We have in Indonesia, we have a program, what we call it, Making Indonesia 4.0. And also we do the human capital competency improvements, and also our government manage raw material. As you know, the raw material is important for the global value chain, as mentioned by our Vice Minister. And now we have also what we call it the Omnibus Law number 11/2020. This is the fresh one that government will facilitate and make investment more conducive in Indonesia. And also we developed what we call it the Global Research Center in Indonesia for F&B industries. And this is showing that the food and beverage industry is one of the important sector priority in making Indonesia 4.0. Let's work together for Thailand investor to come to Indonesia with in collaboration with Indonesia. As you know, the export for food and beverage industry is quite significant. Until August, our export reached almost 19 billion US dollar. It's around 22% of total export of Indonesia. This is just showing you the data. This data are including the palm oil. If we only not include the palm oil, only processed food and semi-processed foods, our data showing around 5 billion US dollar our exports. And you see with Thailand, we still have a negative balance with Thailand because we import a lot from Thailand. And fortunately, if we compare year on year compared to last year, our export to Thailand and also to the world still increased during the pandemic-19. This is just showing you the data from export semi-processed food to Thailand. What we import, as mentioned by your Vice Minister, that we import a lot of sugar, tapioca and others from Thailand as well. Even though our export increased during the pandemic, but we see that we still have an opportunity to fulfill the Thailand demand. For example, for the cocoa products, Thailand import from the world is around 200 million US dollar, but we only supply around 6% from Indonesia. And for coffee, tea, only 5%, and others product for cereal, flour, etc. is around 10%. So still have an opportunity for collaboration in trade in food and beverage industry with Thailand. This is showing you our export to Thailand, coconut, palm oil, cinnamon, etc. And as mentioned by your Vice Minister, we import rice, cassava, soybean, sugar cane as a main import from Thailand. I show you the challenges along the food supply chains. This is also our challenges together, because now is we feel that more nationalist protectionism happens, impact of the world trade war currently. So that's why we would like to invite Taiwan for work together. As you know, the Thailand, Indonesia, in terms of GDP and populations, we say around 50% of ASEAN is Indonesia and Thailand, as mentioned by our Vice Minister. So we have we play an important role in Thailand in ASEAN. So that's why Indonesia, Thailand have to work together to revitalize the ASEAN spirit. As you know, many non-tariff barriers and non-tariff measures in ASEAN, as mentioned by some reports, including the reports from many non-tariff measures increasing from time to time. This is just showing you also Indonesia, Thailand also facing the problem in tackling the non-tariff measures increase. This is by sector also increase, and the latest report also 2015 compared to 2020, the non-tariff measure also increased significantly. So that's why from the dialogue in the ASEAN during the post-pandemic recovery, high-level dialogue on ASEAN, it's a clear message from these dialogues, a pathway towards recovery and hope in ASEAN. So it's time for the faster and more innovative ASEAN way of doing things. So we have to work together towards a sustainable and inclusive economic recovery. So that if we remember together, we have an ASEAN Economic Community Blueprint. We will be a single market and production base. In the midst, we facing some challenges in non-tariff measure, non-tariff barriers in ASEAN. So that's why I would like to invite Thailand to how we can revitalize the ASEAN spirit, and we work together, become a prime mover to reduce non-tariff measures and to do the harmonizations. It's very important because Indonesia, Thailand, as a big countries in the ASEAN, are expected to revitalize the spirit of ASEAN as well as realize the ASEAN Economic Community blueprint towards a global value chains. In conclusions, we see the huge opportunity in trade and investment between two countries. Let's work together to eliminate the technical barriers and doing the mutual recognition agreements, and we have to work together for capacity building in complying the regulations. And we invite Thailand also investment in Indonesia, collaboration with Indonesian company. Let's work together in utilizing the natural resources to produce value-added product for global value chains. And we also doing the collaboration in technology and innovations to improve the competitiveness. And Indonesia government lately provides several incentives for investment in Indonesia, both fiscal and non-fiscal, as well as the new Omnibus Law 11/2020 to make a more conducive for businesses. And we do hope we can do a pioneering in rebuilding the ASEAN spirit, Indonesia and Thailand. Thank you very much for your kind attentions.
Thank you very much, Pak Adhi, for your insightful presentation. As what is interesting when you present your presentation, that you noted that Thailand is currently only number 18 in terms of the value of investment in Indonesia. So the other side of it is obviously there is a very big room for improvement for Thailand to making investment in Indonesia, and of course the other way around as well. So to continue our discussion on investment, I would like to introduce Bapak Kenneth Lee. He is the managing partner of Mba Ventures, or MDI PT LDT, which is a corporate venture capital initiative by Telkom Indonesia, based in Jakarta, with operation in Singapore and Silicon Valley. Pak Kenneth is very active in investment and the startup scene in Indonesia, and specialized in financial analysis, asset management, deal sourcing, and fundraising. He has a bachelor's degree in finance and financial management from Pelita Harapan University. Pak Kenneth, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Can somebody enable my screen, because I need to share screen on my presentation. Okay, thank you. Okay, so good morning, everyone. My name is Kenneth Lee. I think it was good that I was introduced by Ibu Linda. Thank you for inviting me, Your Excellency, Mr. Mahendra Siregar, Vice Foreign Minister of Indonesia, and Your Excellency Vijavat Isarabhakdi, Vice Foreign Minister of Thailand, fellow distinguished speaker, and also ladies and gentlemen. I want to introduce Mba Ventures. I think we are quite different, although the talk is about trade, but I think the importance of digital companies in helping trades digitalize all across Southeast Asia is also very important. So as a part of the state-owned company in Indonesia, under the Ministry of State-Owned Companies, MDI is the first global multi-stage VC firm from Telkom Indonesia. So in Indonesia, we work with a lot of startups, not only in Indonesia, but also across Southeast Asia. And we are, currently the #1 CVC in the country, top 5 in Southeast Asia. And our global rank is around 500 as of October 20. So over the year, the importance of digital companies for Indonesia has been, we cannot be neglected, because we have in Indonesia more than 5 unicorns, The growth has been very significant, and in terms of like trade barriers, it's basically almost non-existent for these digital companies because they are able to scale in many different other countries relatively very quickly. So in Indonesia, we run one of the largest incubator and accelerator, and we are the first and leading digital ecosystem builder. We called ourselves a digital ecosystem builder because we basically have operations all across the country. We have more than 20 offices in Indonesia, and then we actually have supported more than 150 startups, either through investment, mentoring, or actually leveraging our network to help this company to grow. And as of now, we actually manage around $700 million of assets. We have deployed these assets in 12 countries, and Thailand is also included in the list of the countries that we have invested. We actually want to have more investment in the countries and also help Thailand startups to come to Indonesia, because that is one of our core values, which is to bring startups from foreign countries to Indonesia, and we can collaborate together to build the businesses. And the sectors that we are investing, we don't really have a specific sectors. We categorize this on three different category, which is what we call now, new, next. So now is usually existing technology that are being more efficient. New technology is a newly developed technology that is different than the current technology that is able to increase the efficiency for operations. And next is what we call kind of like the future of the tech. So we do invest in companies like space technology and then quantum computing, stuff like that. And I think in Southeast Asia, a lot of this investment comes in the now and new category, because we still are playing catch up with the US and also China in terms of the development of technology. But I don't feel that we are actually lacking in terms of the resources that is available to help us to go there. And over the year, we actually help startups, foreign or local, to actually build synergy in Indonesia. And as you know, during this pandemic situation, it's actually very important for the startups to still have kind of like the business as usual. So what we do with our startup is that we help them to connect with our network and also our state-owned enterprise network to kind of enable this possibility of them still running the business during the pandemic era. If one of the example that we do with the Indonesian government and also the startups is that during the early phase of the pandemic, we actually helped them build kind of like a centralized data for hospital management. We also help them to kind of like build a chatbot to answer questions from the public about this pandemic. And over the year, the business that we are able to unlock from this collaboration amounted to just to about 115 million in 2020 alone. So this is not a small amount for a startup. And we are glad that some of it are with our company that we invested in Thailand. And I think it's good that we were able to do this during the pandemic situation and help to keep the digital startups afloat, especially our portfolio. So I want to talk a little bit about kind of like the winners and losers well, I won't say losers, but the one who got the headwind in this pandemic situation. A lot of the new sectors that are actually getting a lot of tailwind in these sectors are biotech, online education, gaming, and e-commerce related to groceries and food delivery. So these startups, they actually get a very significant tailwind, and they actually be able to get a lot of tractions, get a lot of revenue because of the work from home mentality, right? Another sectors that are not really getting a lot of tailwind, but they also get a tailwind is in fintech, in telco, and also in a new, frontier tech technology. Fintech adoptions in Indonesia is relatively slower before the pandemic, but I think during the pandemic, it has been, growing significantly, as significant as 5 to 10 times the numbers they've done in the year 2019. So I think the move to digital ecosystem is the right way for, I think, Southeast Asia economy, because I think looking at the US and China, where they are going, everything is digitalizing, and this help improve the kind of efficiency for operations in Indonesia. Regarding the trade, we also done several investments, especially in regarding logistics. So we feel that one of the key barrier for e-commerce all across Southeast Asia is actually the trade between countries. So there are still very little startups that are actually tackling this industry. So sea freight, and then container, IoT for trackings. These are the kind of sectors that we have invested over the year. What we want is to kind of streamline the process for trades between countries, enabling all this digitalization to enable real-time trades for a lot of the producer, manufacturers, and also the consumers. So we see, in Southeast Asia, two of the largest unicorn is actually in the ride-hailing sectors, and then several others are in the e-commerce space. So they are actually also paving way for the new wave of sectors. This major sectors actually do expand to other sectors that I mentioned before, like the ride-hailing. I think they are in fintech. They're also in logistics, and also in the e-commerce and food delivery, right? So over the period of just 4 years, the market for e-commerce has expanded for more than 3 times. In online gaming, it has been growing significantly. On ride-hailing, it has been growing more than 5 times. We've basically see, this these sectors will help the other sectors to kind of like grow in the digital economy. An example from us is actually the company called e-commerce. It's actually a company based in Thailand that we have invested in 2018. So if you see, from Q1 2017 to last quarter, they've grown basically 10 times. So the company is an e-commerce enabler that provides end-to-end technologies. They provide, performance marketing, channel management, web store designs, and fulfillment and warehousing. And this company, although based in Thailand, are operating all across Southeast Asia and working with brands globally. Well-known brands such as L'Oreal, Unilever, I think even Charpak use their services. And we co-invested this company with KKR and Sumitomo. So although we see that the pandemic has hit a lot of different sectors, the digital economy are some of the digital company have actually got a tailwind and actually be able to leverage the situation. As you can see, for the company e-commerce, they actually posted their first ever net profit in Q2 2020 because of the pandemic and because of the shift to e-commerce that the consumer are experiencing. And over the year, we've invested in this top leader, right? So the company that I think are excellent in this regard, that are performing really well, is PayFast. So PayFast is a fintech agent networks in Indonesia to help the unbankable be able to use banking services. So this company we invested in seed in 2017, and in April 2020, albeit the pandemic, they actually get fresh investments that value the company at $300 million. And then another one that is also that we invest is called Whisper. We IPO the company last year, but the performance has been okay. But actually, because of the pandemic, the service that they give to the government in Australia actually be able to boost their performance. So this is the thing that we feel that the digital economy can help in terms of trade. And then for us as MDI, we always are open for other digital startups from other countries to come to Indonesia and to work together with us. We say ourselves, we are the Indonesian go-to-market partner for digital startups. We can help them build synergies within the telecom business network that we own, and also the state-owned companies and the government. And we also provide flexible capital solutions and also investments through our multiple funds that we are operating right now. And we also have the global investment office in Singapore and Silicon Valley. We hope that we can expand this reach and open up other offices in, and especially in Thailand. But we encourage the digital startups in Thailand to contact us or to discuss with us if you ever have the needs to actually expand your market to Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pak Kenneth, for your presentation. And I think it's also very appropriate that you highlight an example of an investment that MDI has made in a Thai startup which operation in Southeast Asia. So there is a real life example on how actually you can create, there's a value creation from a foreign startup to make their operation in Southeast Asian countries. And although you highlight the challenges during the pandemic, you also mentioned there are certain sectors that actually make a great improvement, and they have tailwinds in during this pandemic. For example, in biotechnology, you mentioned, in education, in online deliveries. Online delivery especially interesting because as Pak Adhi mentioned previously, the number of people that go into restaurant to eat food outside because of the social restriction has decreased. But the number of people that ordering food online from home is also increasing there. And obviously there's an opportunity there to be further developed. Thank you, Pak. We will probably continue with the question and answer later with respect to your presentation. There is a question from the participant whether it's possible to share the presentation. Probably the committee with the consent of the panelists can answer the question, and if the presentation is available, whether it could be shared through email or other media to the participant. Now we will go to our third panelist. Kun or Ibu Napatupun. She is the Director of Thailand Board of Investment, Jakarta office. She started her career with the Thailand Board of Investment in 2002, and her last position being with the Thailand Board of Investment in Paris. And since 2018, she is the Director of the Board of Investment in Jakarta, of Thailand Board of Investment of Jakarta office. She received a Bachelor of Law from Thammasat University, Thailand, and has a Master of Science from Central Michigan University, USA. Ibu Tupun, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ibu. Good morning, everyone. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, and selamat pagi, Bapak and Ibu. Assalamualaikum. Okay, let me share my screen first. Can you see my slide?
Not yet, Ibu.
Not yet. Okay. Wait a little bit. Is that okay now?
Yes, yes, we can see the screen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I have 15 minutes to tell you how Thailand been up to and what Thailand can offer to you in terms of investment. Now let me begin with giving you the highlight of Thailand. Thailand is quite a sizable market domestic with 67 million people, but we are the second highest household consumption in ASEAN with 52 middle class consumer. Our GDP last year around 2.4%, and Thailand has been a major exporter for many kind of products, as you know, for example, like automotive part, electronic part, food processing product, and also agriculture products. Actually, export business is our around 70% of our GDP, so you can imagine how important of the export business mean to Thailand. And of course, our trade partner include the US, China, and also our ASEAN friend. This is a map of Thailand in the yellow color. We are not a big country compared to Indonesia, but if you see right there in the yellow, we are right there in the middle of the very big economic countries, China and India. And Thai government know that we are at the strategic location, so we actively investing in the infrastructure to make sure that we can capitalize our advantage as a strategic location. During 2015 to 2022, we expect to see around 55 billion US dollar invest in infrastructure facility. A large portion of investment will go to the railway system and also the mass transit system. To support the export business, we also have 13 FTA with 18 nations. For who wonder how easy to do the business in Thailand, we are ranked number 21 in global ranking, and we are in number 2nd after Singapore in terms of logistics. This is the summarizes of the investment from Indonesian people to Thailand to the year 2015 and until this year. Most of investment went to the transportation industry. None of them is in the food and beverage at all. And this is a Thai investor to Indonesia. Its value around 1.4 billion US dollar. Most of investment went to the chemical industry, and 7% went to the food industry. It's quite a small number. And let's take a look a bit on food industry in Thailand. Food industry is around 5.7% of our GDP, and the total is around 13% of our export. The workforce in this area are around 1 million people. As pandemic all around the world, this benefit to our food delivery business is up to 31%, more than 60 million US dollar in value. But it impact to the restaurant in Thailand. The revenue went down around 6% because consumer they change their behavior to like they work at home, stay at home, and also to cook at home, and also buy the online grocery. The pandemic also benefit for some products. For example, the chicken, canned tuna, seasoning salt, and also the instant noodle. You can see that the number of canned tuna is significant, going up for 18%. I touched a little bit on beverage marketing. It's down by 6% this year in January up to the May this year. All segments were down. You can see that at the tea and sport drink, they are around minus 13%. And this what Thailand can offer to you in terms of investment. Of course, we are helping the company in many aspects. We do provide tax incentive to help to reduce the cost of investment. We provide tax corporate income tax, ranging from 0 year up to 8 years. Sometimes we can add additional year up to 10 years, like 50% deduction for your corporate income tax. We also provide exemption for your import duty for machinery, and also provide an import duty exemption on the raw material that you bring in to re-export and to produce your products. We also facilitate the company, particularly in for the foreigner company, to have we call non-tax incentive. For the business, we allow you to have major shareholder of maybe up to 100% of your shareholder in the company. I think for our activity, very a few business that we require for the Thai shareholder. I think very a few. And we also allow you to buy the land, of course, with unlimited of time if you still keep your business in Thailand. And if you get benefit, also you can send back to your home country, is no problem. We also run our own stop shop for visa and work permit to make sure that you can enter to Thailand smoothly, and we guarantee that the company will get a renewal paper within 3 hours after submitting completed documentation. We are also running a smart visa program to attract the foreigner talent, foreigner technology, and investment. This is FTA for the food industry since 2015 to this year. Most of FDA to Thailand always came from Japan, and followed by the US and also ASEAN friend. This is an activity that BOI has been promoted under the food and beverage industry. I will not go in detail because it's quite a lot. So this is only the example, like plant and animal breeding, slaughtering. But you can see that there are different benefits. For some, you get 5 years exemption for corporate income tax, but for some, you get 8 years. It depends on what kind of your business. This is an example. I will go quickly. Manufacturing of food and beverage, and also the food innopolis also included here. Yes. And during the pandemic, we also relax for some regulation that company need to follow. But this year we relax for like to submit corporate income tax exemption, to delay the project, to delay full operation, to start up the project also. And I would like, last but not least, I would like to introduce my office. This is Thailand Board of Investment in Jakarta. We opened in 2018, 2 years ago. And our aim is to encourage Thai people to do more business in Indonesia. But if Indonesia people would like to do the business in Thailand, you are most welcome, and my door is always open. And I also would like to take this opportunity to thank you to the Kembu, Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Bangkok, and Thai Embassy, Jakarta, Indonesia Embassy in Bangkok, and BKPM. Without this guy, we couldn't be here. So this is very quick because I'm running out of the time. So I will leave you with a very short TVC, and I hope you enjoy that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu. You still can have time if you have additional information to share. I understand you also would like to share a video from the Board of Investment of Thailand.
Yes, please. It's 2 minutes. Yeah.
Yes.
Tôi ยืนยันเพิ่ม Dear Crisis, we hope you're doing well. Perhaps that's what we should be telling ourselves. We still remember each and every challenge you've thrown our way.
โลกนี้เต็มไปด้วยโรคสนามบินก็ไม่ได้จะปลอดภัยนะครับ
Though we know you will never take it easy on us, we just want to. Yes, thank you. Thank you for knocking us down. It's how we've learned to stay calm, to improvise, and to fight back. It's how we've become more resilient. You've reminded us how lucky we are to live on solid and fertile ground. You've proved just how strong and supportive our healthcare system is.
วันนี้เป็นวันแรกของการรายงานที่มีการติดเชื้อ0 ราย
And it's you who made us realize that we are the beating heart of ASEAN with unique potential. Our people are not only highly skilled, but willing to adapt and maximize advanced technologies. Thank you again, Crisis, for preparing us even better for the future than ever. Thailand, the land of resilience.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ibu. Obviously, a very energizing video. So we should look at challenges as actually an opportunity for us to grow and perhaps be bigger in the future, rather than just looking at it as it is as a challenge, but another way looking at it as an opportunity to become more resilient to face other crises. And as it's correctly mentioned, both Indonesia and Thailand obviously suffered greatly during the 2004 tsunami, but both countries, with cooperation with each other, with cooperation with other countries in ASEAN, are able to basically get up again and become more prosperous than before.
Okay, I will be ready for your question.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you, Bu. Okay, we will now go to our next speaker, Bapak Muhammad Faisal. Bapak Faisal is Director of Indonesia Investment Promotion Center, or IIPC, in Singapore. So he's joining us from Singapore. Pak Faisal joined the BKPM, or the Indonesia Investment Coordinating Board, in 2003. And before his current position in Singapore, he is the Deputy Director for Infrastructure Promotion in BKPM in 2019. Pak Faisal has a master's degree in management from Trisakti University. Pak Faisal, thank you for joining us. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, moderator. His Excellency Mr. Mahendra Siregar, Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia. His Excellency Mr. Vijavat Isarabhakdi, Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Thailand. To all panelists from Indonesia and Thailand, moderator, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. Sawadee Krap. I hope that you are well and healthy. First, I would like to extend our gratitude and appreciation to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Thailand to organize this event and for inviting IIPC Singapore. And also, I want to congratulate the commemoration of the 70th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Thailand and Indonesia this year. Today, I'm here to share with you about Indonesia latest investment updates and opportunities, specifically in food and beverage sector. So I would like to share screen. Next, I will start with the BKPM first. So BKPM is an institution in Indonesia in charge of boosting investment, both foreign direct investment and domestic direct investment. I think it's similar like BOI in Thailand. So the position of the BKPM itself is right under the president, and IPC is Indonesia Investment Promotion Center, representative office of BKPM abroad. Now we have 8 IPC offices in many countries. And IPC Singapore here, not only in charge to attract investment from Singapore, but we are covering ASEAN member countries. So not only Singapore, there are 9 countries in ASEAN. So our job is to identify potential investors and assist them in realizing their investment in Indonesia. So today I would like to share with you about the FDI performance, about why Indonesia, and then what is the reform and policies, opportunities, and also incentive. I think some of them already explained by previous speaker. So our data here from BKPM, this is the data in the last 5 years. As you can see, this is top 15 source of foreign direct investment in Indonesia, starting 2016 to third quarter this year. So based on this data, the investment come to Indonesia mostly from Asia. This is 77% is from Asia. But from ASEAN, as you can see here, 46% from this 77 is from ASEAN. So that's why we should work very, work to promote investment in Indonesia in ASEAN. As you can see from among ASEAN countries, Singapore is still maintained to be the strongest, number 1. For the last 6 years, Singapore is number 1 Indonesia source of investment. Followed then Malaysia, number 7 here, with 6.3 billion US dollar, and also Thailand, number 13, with 1.3 billion US dollar. So since IPC Singapore in charge to attract investment from ASEAN, so we focus on these 3 countries: Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. Talking about the food industry here, but based on our data in the last 5 years, FDI realization during the last 5 years period, agricultural sector has reached 6.7 billion US dollar, and food industry 7.8 billion US dollars. This is, as you can see, more than 10% of the total realization of foreign direct investment. For agricultural sector, concentrated in outside Java, usually in Kalimantan and Sumatra, but the manufacturing company usually set up the factory in Java Island. So this is in terms of location. For Thailand investment in Indonesia in the last 5 years, Thailand investor usually choose Java. 84% of them choose Java as their location, followed by Sumatra 8% and Kalimantan 7%. As you can see here is number one is Banten province, and followed by West Java, number two, and also I think in the number 5 Jakarta special region. This is most of them choose this location. As you can see, Banten with 147 projects, West Java more than 300 projects. Similar like Jakarta, also more than 300 projects choose Java. So I think we need to more promote investment not only in Java Island, but to attract investment to invest also in outside Java, specifically in the eastern part of Indonesia. In terms of sector, most of the investment from Thailand choose chemical and pharmaceutical industry. Follow number 2 is trade with more than 300 projects, and then mining, and number 4 is food industry. Food industry with 69 projects and almost 100 million US dollar. And also number 16, food crop plantation with 8 projects. So I think we still have room to improve our investment in the food and beverage sector. Some of the company from Thailand already set up their facility in Indonesia, like this company. We have a short spa, Charun Pokpan, I think already mentioned by previous speaker also, Pak Adhi Lukman. So this is some sample of their product, their factory in Indonesia. This is short spa ABC Indonesia. They produce energy drink and also a coffee beverage. Also, PT Ichitan also they produce the series of Thai milk tea. Charun Pokpan, of course, we don't have to explain more about this. They produce some food, packaged food like sausages and also nuggets, and also other companies from Thailand. So now, why is Indonesia, as also mentioned by previous speaker, Indonesia is the home of the world's fourth largest population with 260 million people. It is equal with 40.8% of ASEAN total population. And we are also projected to have more than 300 million by 2035. So it is a huge market with consuming class twice the size of the population of Australia. So, and also I would like to add that Indonesia is the largest economy in ASEAN. The investment reform that we do here is like this. BKPM has 6 KPI, a strategy to boost investment performance, such as to improve our ease of doing business. Right now, our ease of doing business rank is 73, and we have target to reach 40. And also to distribute investment, not only the western part of Indonesia and Java Island, but to spread the investment to other islands outside Java and also the eastern part of Indonesia. And also to promote our small and medium enterprises. And I would like to share that the government president had issued the instruction last year with the aim to improve investment climate. So this president instruction was issued to give authorization for the KPM in terms of business licensing. In according to that, 21 ministry or institution have delegated their authority to BKPM. So BKPM can provide a much faster licensing process. The investor doesn't have to come to each ministry, they just come to one office in BKPM. So during this pandemic, also we have some strategies, like we managed to facilitate the existing company which want to reinvestment. So if they want to expand their investment in Indonesia, and also the bottlenecking of the project who meet some problem in realizing that investment. So also we have a special task force for relocation investment. This is to facilitate the company who want to relocate their investment from other country to Indonesia. And as the effort to break the chain of COVID-19 transmission, BKPM facilitate companies with licenses in medical equipment, pharmaceutical, and supporting industry in regard to reduction facilitation of business licensing requirement, acceleration of process, and special assistance. So, and also the last thing, I think many of you have aware about the omnibus law. We have the president already signed this regulation. So the urgency of this law is to improve our ease of doing business rank, and also high demand for job vacancy, and also the policies between central and regional government. So with this law, we hope the climate of investment will improve, and the investment will grow in the future. About the opportunity, I think we have 6 priority sectors for investment as the government say in the roadmap. So one is infrastructure, of course. Number 2 is manufacturing industry. This is usually for labor-intensive industry, export orientation, import substitution, and downstream industry. So of course, for food and beverage industry also include in this sector. Other than that is maritime, because we are the largest archipelagic country in the world. We have to use the potential fishery and cold storage opportunity here, and also agriculture to support the food and beverage also, and tourism. We have what we call 10 New Bali, because you already know we have one Bali, of course, but we need to develop another tourist destination to become Bali. So we have new location as tourist destination to develop, and the other is the lifestyle industry. So we believe that digital economy and education will be the catalyst for pushing Indonesia 4.0. And during this COVID-19 pandemic, some sector hit very hard, like tourism, transportation, aviation, travel, but positive impact on industry that benefit from shift in user behavior to online is like e-commerce, food delivery, software, and social segment will take a benefit, and also medical supply and services. Other than that, I would like to share about our website here. So we have event, we call it Indonesia Investment Day. This is our annual event as a flagship. So we promote more than 100 projects, clean and clear project from 11 provinces in Indonesia. So if you want to know about this project, maybe you could open our website, www.investindonesia.sg for more detail. For example, this is one sample of this project is integrated poultry industry in Bojonegoro. So this is, we also provide the PIC, and also a chocolate industry in Blitar with the investment value 2 billion Indonesian rupiah. This is also the opportunity for Thailand investor to take part, participate in to invest in Indonesia. Lastly is incentive. I think for incentive, we have a tax holiday. This is 5 to 20 years of tax exemption for these 18 eligible pioneer sectors. But it depends on the investment value. The bigger the investment value will be, the longer the investor can enjoy this incentive. Other than that, we also offer tax allowance, and this tax allowance is a reduction in net income tax based on the 30% based on the value of the fixed asset. So divide by 6 years, 5% each year. There's also in some sector like agriculture and also manufacturing. I think lastly is the import duty facility. This is the exemption of import duty for importing machinery for 2 years, and also for importing raw material for 2 years. I think if you want to invest to Indonesia, I suggest that you meet the right people. So if you want to know more data or need to discuss something about investment, you can contact us. This is our email, iapc.sg@bkpm.go.id. We can set up a Zoom meeting later. So, or you can contact our colleague in the Embassy of Indonesia in Bangkok. So we work together with them. So lastly, we welcome you to come to invest in Indonesia. Thank you. Kapun kap.
Thank you very much, Pak Faisal, for the presentation. As we can see, there are several priority sectors that the Indonesian government is focusing on. For example, if we look at infrastructure, there would be opportunity for Thailand companies in construction, for example, construction companies, or power companies, in manufacture, especially in food and beverages. I think not many Indonesian consumers realize that the well-recognized brands that you highlight in one of the slides of your presentation, such as Fiesta or Ichitan, are actually brands from Thailand, because people just recognize the brand, not really recognizing the country from which that brands are coming from. In the tourism industry, obviously there are opportunities for Thai companies engaged in hotels and resorts. Looking at the advance in the tourism industry, already very well established in Thailand, is something that could be implemented in Indonesia, not just as you mentioned in Bali, but in all other, the super priority tourism area as designated by the government. Thank you, Pak. We will take those further into question and answer session. We will now come to our last speaker, but certainly not least, Kun or Bapak Tus Tang Sombat. He is the Honorary President and Chairman of Seafood Group, Thai Food Processor Association. Pak Tus is the Managing Director of Pusin Pang Guan Ha Co. Limited. He is a member of several subcommittees, including Subcommittee to Standard for Food and Agriculture Organization, or FAO, and WHO, Deputy Secretary General to Thai National Shipper Council in 2003-2004, Arbitrator on Fisheries Product Specialist, Advisor to Deputy Prime Minister, His Excellency Pongpel Adhi Reksan, as Advisory Board for Economics. So obviously, Mr. Tang Sombat here has a very extensive experience. He has his Bachelor of Economics from Chulalongkorn University, an MBA of Management from Fairleigh Dickinson University, USA, and MA in Economics Law from Chulalongkorn University, Thailand. Mr. Tang Sombat, thank you very much for sharing your time with us. The floor is yours to share the presentation.
Good morning, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's my honor to be invited into this forum. So let's not waste time. I will presenting my, sharing my feels about how we're going to thrive on the COVID-19 pandemic. So please, the first page is I will talking about the post-COVID-19 disruptive economy. As we know, in many articles before COVID time, all the world are facing disruptive era, such as the global warming, climate change, extreme and unpredictable weather, environment pollution, such as the Indonesian and Malaysian and Thailand facing is like air pollution from the 2.5 micron dust. Okay, and this leads to the green economy that we are thinking about, more green economy. Second is effective family planning in the past leads to less than 1% birth rate. So we see a lot of aging society in the developed country. Also in Thailand, we are facing this kind of problem also. So this leads to robotic and AI to replace the depleting labor. Okay, the second is, the third is we see more and more social media influence, just like you see the crisis in Thailand now. Even we are safe from COVID-19 now, but we are not safe from the young generation that demonstrate on the street because of the social media influence. Before COVID-19, all the world, we have a very good time on cheap airfare that leads to fusion in foods and culture. So we people of the world, we can enjoy lots of differences, gourmet and delicacy. Okay, but this leads to also we face a very diverse and aligned groups of people also, like now we have multiple gender. We not have just men and women anymore. We have a lot of in between this and in between that. So this is kind of interesting world that we are facing before COVID-19. Okay, let's get to the second pages. So during COVID-19, what we are seeing during COVID-19, okay, the environmental issue is less because outdoor activity is less. However, we are still facing extreme weather. Okay, we cannot cope with a lot of agricultural sector in Thailand now. Like last year, we faced a lot of big drought, and we are the crops from Thailand is diminishing drastically. And but this year we face a lot of too many rains, then we will have a flood problem in many areas of agriculture. Second is, according to WHO data on 4th of October 2020, America, continent, Southeast Asia, and Europe account for 91% of new cases. 5 countries, namely India, USA, Brazil, Argentina, and France, represent 60% of new global cases. But very interesting that the highest percentage of cases are among people that aging around 25 to 39, and 50% case of mortality is in 29 to 64 ages group. So continue to page 3 of my presentation. This is just a figure that I copied from the WHO, so we can pass through the figure. Okay, this one I will not touch it. This also just to show you the figure and the territory that COVID-19 is striking. We see social distancing and very limited social gathering, just like Thailand during the first quarter of this year. We prohibited social gathering, and if you go to a department store in Bangkok, you will see it's like a graveyard or something, no activity at all, everything shut, and even some bank in the department store still operating, but no air conditioning turned on. Okay, and we see tourism and HoReCa business, which is hotel, restaurant, and catering, collapse. Luxury goods, nobody buy any luxury goods anymore. As you can see, even Hermes and Rolex, they don't have a production. So sales stalls, except food, that's still going strong. Because of people are losing job, and lots of SME, which is the backbone of the Thai business, not the big corporation. I have to emphasize that SME is the backbone of Thai business. So we can see that the purchasing power is deterring. Household debt is increasing, and groups of corporate and a group of people that are demanding governmental support, and government has a lot of stimulus to stimulate the people consumption, also providing the debt relieving measure for the SME and people. So go on to the next pages. So what do we have in common? As many presentation of Indonesian colleagues saying that we are both agricultural and fishery countries. Okay, and we have because I think our territory in the past, like even in 1,000 years ago, we're talking about Tararawadi, and it's a very old region that we have like a trade relation. So we eat rice, we also eat rice, we also eat meat. So this is not difficult for Thai or for Indonesian to try or to taste the new delicacy. Okay. So please. So this is repeating the fact that that we are our bilateral trade values are shown in the figure. So please. Yeah. Just the figure that it, yeah. Okay. Through the years, what the food industry in Thailand experienced is shown in this picture. From 1970 to 1980s, we are fully implement GMP and HACCP. 1981 to 1990s. So we are strengthened more and more quality control and lab testing. 1991 to 2000, quality assurance management system, private standard like BSI and other standards. 2001 and 2010, we are talking about how to get more and more raw material because of the shortage and getting more and more expensive. We face a lot of increased SPS and TBT from our trading partner, especially from the Western side. And 2011 to 2020, we are thinking about how to produce food in a very sustainable way. How to produce food to be more and more environmental friendly. We have to consider a lot about the labor welfare and even the animal welfare. And the challenges we will be heading to next year onward for the next decade is we thinking about technological innovation, just like robotic AI, in order to cope with the problem of food shortage and labor shortage. Okay, please go on. Now, Thailand food industry are moving forward through the obstacle created by TBT, either posed by Western government and business groups. I mean, even hypermarket group, they demand more and more from us. Started from the tuna industry that they demand dolphin safe tag. That means we have to utilize tuna that protect the dolphin life also. Okay, and the EU introducing the IUU fisheries. That means our fishery has to report even the location of the fleet in the sea. We have to report the catching to the EU to make sure that this is sustainable fishing. Okay, and this we are losing competitiveness due to labor shortage, rising wages, and they demand more and more welfare from the employer. We have to admit that we will not be able to continue producing mass production for mass market, but rather identify precise market group. Somebody call it niche market. We realize the importance of domestic and Southeast Asian market, because during COVID time, lots of buyers in the West, like in Europe and in America, some importer they are facing a difficult time, and we see a pause in importation. But this not apply to canned tuna, because canned tuna, I mean retail size sales is boosting, but not for the catering size. The catering size is totally stopped. And we realize that domestic market is the very important market. Even in my company, we are 100% export oriented company, but this year we are changing our direction to more and more domestic market. And we're talking a lot about CLMV, which is China, Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam, because we in the same piece of land. So transportation and logistic is very easy for Thailand to get the product from those CMV and also to export the product to CMV. So we realized the importance of the CMV, and border trade is increasing the importance more and more for Thailand. So that is to say that there are options for major business to relocate the production to other countries. However, there are many factors to consider prior moving, such as investment facilitation, regulations and laws and all the things, the efficiencies of the bureaucrats in those countries also. For example, if the tuna business or the seafood business would like to move into some country, we have to consider whether the effectiveness of the governmental body in that country can provide or not. Just for example, the IUU, the cash certificate and all the things, you know. That is to say why you don't see lots of investment from Thailand to other countries, because our bureaucratic system is very strong. We develop a very strong tie from the private sector to the government sector, and we're working side by side to tackle the problem. The evidence is when we are the second country in the world who catch COVID, but we act very fast and then we can contain the disease. And you can see that the business in Thailand now is the nose is picking up, and we are on the rise to the recovery. Okay, I think this is my last pages. So I would like to welcome lots more and more questions from the panel, if you will have at the end of the session. So thank you very much for your audience.
Thank you very much, Kun Tustang Sombat, for your presentation. I will now open the floor for questions and answers. As previously informed, please state your question in the chat box, mentioning your name, your institution, and also to whom your question is addressed. First, we have a question that was posted in the YouTube channel. So our event today is also being live streamed from YouTube. So in addition to the participant that you can see here in the Zoom facilities, we also have participants that are watching us from YouTube. So the first question is to Pak Faisal from IIPC. The question is from Pai from Islamic University of Bandung, or UIN Bandung. The question is there an opportunity and convenience for Indonesian investors during the current pandemic to invest or do business in an Asian country? I think perhaps in addition to Pak Faisal, this question could also be addressed to Ibu Napatupun in her position as Director of Thailand Port Investment. Thank you, Pak. Please, Pak Faisal and Ibu Ipun.
Thank you for the question. So is there any opportunity to invest during the pandemic? Yeah, of course. In this situation, there will also some opportunity. For example, during this pandemic, some company want to come to Indonesia, setting up for a factory in the healthcare sector, for example, like face mask. And also, we in Indonesia try to develop what it called the medical tourism, for example. So we invite hospital from other countries to invest in Indonesia, specifically in the tourist destination, like Bali, for example. Government prepare some location in Indonesia for the location of this kind of hospital in Bali and also near Jakarta and other in Medan. And also from Indonesia, I think a lot of business people who want to invest in other country in ASEAN. For example, like mentioned earlier, like Gojek already operated in several countries in ASEAN, including Thailand. And also, I think in this situation, in the pandemic, we should work together and rethink our strategy of partnership in the new normal situation. So we need to, identify our strength, Indonesia's strength, and also Thailand's strength areas that will be mutually beneficial for our future economic development. For digital sector, I think Traveloka, also like others, e-commerce platform will benefit more in this situation. For example, people with the stay-home notice, they stay home and order food and beverage from home using this platform. Also like Gojek, Grab, and others, medical supply also online. So yes, this is also, we have some opportunity in this situation. We just have to identify this kind of opportunity, and we have to assist also the other sectors hit quite hard in this situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Faisal. Ibu Napat, perhaps you would like to add as to what are the incentives provided to investors from ASEAN countries if they want to invest in Thailand.
Okay, actually, the investment can be done anytime because now we open for the online submission or the program from the BOI to apply for the business license, also for the to set up the company, to apply for the corporate income tax exemption. We do it online, totally 100%. And of course, you can do the investment in Thailand. And I think now the benefit of pandemic is going to some industry, for example, like medical industry, pharmaceutical industry, and digital industry, and also the food industry. And if I compare the application during the pandemic to before the pandemic last year, I think it's almost the same that we received the application. So this doesn't matter to me, but that I think there may some trouble or some struggle for start a business at the beginning, because I think it's difficult to travel to Thailand by now, because when people come to Thailand now, you're subject to be quarantined for 14 days. So you might take a little longer to stay in Thailand. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Kunapat. I see there's not yet any question in the chat box or from the YouTube channel. Perhaps I can ask Pak Adhi, as the chairman of the Indonesian Food and Beverage Association. But obviously, this pandemic has posed a challenge to the F&B business. But on the other side, there's also increased demand for online deliveries of food. And there's also increased demand for healthy food, right? Because now people worry about their health. They want food that could improve their immune system. They want more food supplements. And there's also a new demand for, in addition to food that are ready to eat, people also now want to have food that are ready to cook, because now they want to cook at home rather than eating out from the restaurant, rather than just ordering instant food. They now want to have food that are ready to cook at home with their family. So how do you see these challenges, and how can the food industry, F&B industry, respond to these challenges, especially in light of the ability to use or optimize the digital economy, the e-commerce, to address some of these challenges?
Thank you. Yes, we understand that many changes in the midst of the COVID pandemic. So in the food and beverage industry, as I mentioned, there are some new opportunity for the e-commerce for the food and beverage industry. But the basic for food and beverage industry through e-commerce is quite small. Around our contribution in the e-commerce for the food and beverage in Indonesia, based on the several reports, only around 1%. And then they report that there are some increment around 300 to 400% during the pandemic. So it's around less than 5% in total for the contribution currently for food and beverage industry. But I see that there are some newcomer in the e-commerce for the food and beverage industry, coming from the home industry and the smallholders industry. They produce some food for home cooking, like a frozen food, and also some ready-to-eat food, and then they're frozen. The challenge is, of course, the legality of the producers, and then the food safety matters. And the other things is about the delivery and infrastructure for logistics, especially for the high-risk food, like frozen foods. This is the quite big challenges in Indonesia, because we are not ready in distributing the frozen food, for example, from the one city to another city. Maybe only in the surrounding the producer, they can deliver the product using the Gojek or others platforms. But this is a very limited. This is the condition in Indonesia. I believe maybe the same situation in Thailand as well. And for the medium big companies, of course, some producers who produce the product for to fulfill the demand during the pandemic COVID, of course, it's a big opportunity, because some producer for the functional food, for example, and also some producer now producing a product with the fortification, with vitamins, with to boost the immune of the consumer. This is an opportunity for the producer in Indonesia. And also some kinds of food category, like milk and dairy industries, cooking oil for home cooking, spices. And this is still good and running well during the pandemic. And I heard, for example, for the dairy industry, now at all full capacity to serve the demand of the consumers. And of course, for the basic food, yes, still same production still on the same level. But the challenging is for the secondary needs, like beverages, sweetened beverages, and some snack. That is a secondary needs. This is quite challenging, because in general, it's maybe now I guess it's around 50 to 60% from the normal conditions they're selling, their sales. So this is question is. So I conclude that in the food and beverage industry in general, we still around maybe around 70% of the normal conditions. Some category is good condition and some category in not under the capacities. So, according to the report from the Ministry of Industry, our utility and the food and beverage industry now in the level around 66, 67% from the normal conditions. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Pak Adhi, for your comprehensive explanation about the situation of the food industry in Indonesia. Perhaps Mr. Tas also has the same experience in Thailand. I see now we have two questions from the chat box. So the first one is from Ms. Salini from MFA Thailand. Can the Indonesian panelists, so this is a question for Pak Adhi, Pak Faisal, and perhaps Pak Kenneth, elaborate a little more about the Omnibus Law, such as how it could facilitate investment from Thailand, and how long will it take for the Omnibus Law to come into effect? The second question is for Mr. Tas. Could you possibly share experience investing in Indonesia, including the challenges you face and how you overcome those challenges? So please, either Pak Faisal or Pak Adhi would like to respond to the first question first.
Okay, maybe Pak Faisal first.
Yes, please, Pak Faisal, about the Omnibus Law.
Okay, thank you for the question. About Omnibus Law, this is new law that issued by the government this year. So with this law, of course, we simplify from 76 laws into one law, Omnibus Law, what we call job creation law. So this law is meant to be as a job creation. So I think in the slide I already mentioned that this law, with this law, we know that in Indonesia we have still unemployment people. So with this COVID, also some of them lose their jobs. So at this point, with this situation, with the economic growth also this year is not too good. So we need to provide jobs for Indonesian citizens. So at that time, we need to make it easier to investor to come to Indonesia, set up their facility in Indonesia, and then use Indonesian as their employee. So for the question that this when this law will come to effect, I think after the law is signed by the president, it will be followed by the regulation from each ministry to to explain more about this omnibus law. And I think from BKPM there are plans to socializing this omnibus law, to have a webinar specifically to explain more about this omnibus law. I think in the end of this year, by December or by the early next year, our colleague from BKPM will setting up a webinar specifically explaining about omnibus law. But if you asking about when this law will take effect, I think it will wait until the regulation from ministry first. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Faisal. Yeah, mungkin from Pak Adhi, I would like to add, since Pak Adhi is also a member of Kadin, who is involved in the drafting of the law itself.
Okay, thank you. I also a member of the Kadin committee. I think, and also the member of the omnibus law team. This is a collaboration between the government and also from the private proposal from private sector. Of course, the government, as mentioned by Faisal, the government will make a more conducive for the business and industry, and to create a new job, for the people. So I believe that many new regulations that can create a job in this under the omnibus law. And almost every day now we are invited by governments to discuss the government regulations, because the legislation system in Indonesia, after the law signed by president and then followed by the government regulation and some with ministry decree. So that's why almost every day we are invited to discuss it. And according to the explanation from the government, the government will finalize the government regulations within this month and the next month, and to hope maybe next year, January, already come into effect all the regulation. For example, now we are discussing about the trade system under the new law. And then we also talking about the halal certifications under this new law also. And we are talking also about the employment, the employment system and minimum wages, etc. This is under the government regulation. So as a private sector, of course, we also hope that this as soon as possible it can be came into effect, and then we can get the benefit from this new law. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Pak Adhi. So basically, to answer the question on how long it will take for the omnibus law to come into effect, the law itself, the law on job creation, is already effective, as it is already approved by the Parliament and signed by the President. However, several implementation of that law would need to be further detailed in government regulation. And these government regulations are currently being prepared by the government as a further implementing provision of the details that are required under the law. And there are several government regulations, so the government, different ministries from different sectors are in cooperation with all the stakeholders, including the private sectors and some social organization, to ensure that this government regulation is indeed can accommodate all the aspiration of the relevant stakeholders. For the next question, Mr. Tus, if you can share your experience investing in Indonesia and the challenges that you face and how you overcome those challenges. Please, sir.
Thank you. You may disappoint to find that I'm not yet investing in Indonesia yet. But from my experience, because I'm in seafood business, like 2 decades ago, Thai fishing fleet operate a lot in Indonesian waters by government permission. but nowadays there's no zero, there's a zero activity, no fishing allowed for the Thai fleet anymore. But you may wonder why we do not move our factory to Indonesia. We do. In 30 years ago, some factory investing in Medan, and because they are doing lots of pasteurized crab, and Thailand is short of blue swimming crab. Even at this moment, we have to import from Pakistan or some Middle East country. So that is to say that even we face a lot of raw material shortage, we can thrive by importing a lot of raw material or semi finished raw material from every country available. The second experience that I have, because I do the desiccated coconut business in Thailand. And as you know, the coconut supply in Thailand is very short. We demand around 1.2 million tons per year, but domestically we can produce only 800,000 tons only. That is to say we have to import. And the biggest import in the past is from Indonesia. But our coconut plantation, they squeeze our government so hard. So the government is imposing lots of TBT and lots of measures to make importation from Indonesia very difficult, such as they put a quota like 2.1 per one. That means we have to utilize the coconuts from the local 2.5 ratio. Then we can have the permission to import Indonesian coconuts in just one, so 2.5 per one. Another thing is in the past we are able to import coconuts in barge, in a big fleet, right? Open space, because it takes only a few days from Indonesia water into the Thai water. But nowadays everything has to be in the container, especially has to be in reefer, like refrigerated container, because if they even found that one coconut has a grow some shoots, then they reject the whole lot. So that is to say the Thai government now is placing a very big burden on our shoulder, because we will not have the raw material to average the production cost anymore. So in the future, I will see that a lot of big coconut factory, they may move maybe to Indonesia, who knows. But for the most factory, which is my member in the association, we will face a really hard time. And at the end of the day, the coconut plantation in Thailand will face a hard time too, because without the factories surviving, they cannot survive also. So that's this to wrap up the question. I hope this will be appropriate. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ratus. The challenge that you explain is actually an opportunity to how to match, right? That challenge, that the lack of, or the difficulty in importing coconut from other countries. How could that be met by Indonesian producer, for example? And as you mentioned, food security, raw material security is very important. I think this is also the point raised by Pak Adhi when he said maintaining food security, maintaining the quality is even more important now. And especially because of the pandemic, the demand for maintaining and the ability to ensure that the food is actually safe, it meets certain quality standards, is also increasing that. And that would be challenges for some companies, because obviously that would increase costs for company to be able to meet those requirements. I think another point that is similar with what Pak Adhi has mentioned, that a lot of the food industry in Indonesia are home industry that is currently developing during this pandemic. Mr. Tus also mentioned that SME is the backbone of Thai economy, not just the big corporation. The big corporation is important, but actually the SME are the backbone of Thai economy. So how do you foresee this home industry or SME is able to overcome these challenges? And how can the government help them to be able to overcome these challenges? Do they need to issue a new policy? Do they need to relax certain regulation? How do you see it as the actual business player that day-to-day face this kind of challenges?
So this question is raised to me, right?
Yes, and perhaps later Pak Adhi could also respond. Yes.
Experience from the Thai side is the government now, they issue a lot of debt relieving measure for SME, but that is not enough, because as you know that the banking sector is squeezed by a lots of regulation, so they cannot just get the funding from the government, from the federal government, and just eject the money. So only big corporation got the relief first, but for SME they still very struggle to survive. But this is a very heavy matter for all the SME. I think even in Indonesia also that access to capital is very limited. Okay, and as I said, that domestic market is more and more important. So, and because of the pandemic, we cannot have the Myanmar laborers also, because we afraid of the contagious. So in the past, it is very certain that we have to adopt a lot of robotic and automation. But the question is how SME will get the funding to finance and restructure the production. So this is the question shooting back to the government, that they may have to rethink about all the measure that they think they are saving the SME, but SME in fact cannot have the access to the money the government intend to inject into the SME sector. So now the government is doing the easiest way is to increase the consumption by, it's like a half program. I don't know the Indonesian knows the news or not, that the government will pay half of the consumption the people register in the application Kedutaan. Is like the virtual wallet. So when they buy things, the government will pay half of the cost they pay. So this can be a stimulus for domestic consumption. But this is for boosting the consumption, but not for restructuring the factory or the entrepreneur, which is very crucial. We have to do this now, otherwise Thailand cannot thrive at all, because we're facing a lot of higher production cost, shortage of raw material, and more demanding from the local agricultural sector, because when everything cannot be solved, they think, okay, we have to buy importation, we have to ask for higher price from the manufacturer higher buying price, purchasing price. This is not the good condition at all for Thai business at this moment, especially for SME. I hope this answer your question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tus. Pak Adhi, if you would like to add from the Indonesian perspective, Pak.
Okay, thank you. Yes, especially during the pandemic, many SMEs closed, especially the SMEs who produce the goods or products related with the tourism. So many impact to the SMEs as well, and also because of the decreasing of the demand, household consumptions, and governments has some program to make SME survive. Some of them is the incentive for loan for the SMEs in Indonesia. Government provide low interest for the SMEs, and also the restructuring for the machineries. For example, the government provide 25 to 30% of the investment in the SMEs who renew the machineries, the automations. This is in the program of the Indonesian Making Indonesia 4.0 as well. And also government provides some technical assistance and monitoring for the SMEs, because we understand that many SMEs need our help to make the business survive. And then the last program, we work together with the BKPMs, for example. Some of the big companies collaboration with the SMEs to help the SMEs survive, and we work together with in several areas. For example, one big company, they can make a collaboration with several SMEs surrounding the companies, the factories. This is the program we are creating by government and collaboration with the private sector. So we do hope SMEs can survive during the pandemic, the COVID-19. And of course, based on the explanation from the government, this program will continue in the 2021, because the impact of the pandemic is still need a long time for the recovery. So that's why the government will extend the program until next year. So this is the Indonesian's government's doing for help the SMEs. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pak Adhi.
Moderator, I would like to add something.
Of course, Pak, please.
Yeah, about the SME, if you also read about Omnibus Law, so the government would like to help the SME during this situation with simplifying the licenses for SME. Other than that, big company who want to invest in Indonesia required to have a partnership with the SME. So this SME could develop their level from a small company become medium company, and medium company becoming a big company. And also the government have program for SME to use more digital technology with its startup, and also for marketing, and also for operation of this SME. The use of startup digital technology also help a lot for this SME. I think the Ministry of Industry has a program called Startup for Industry to help the SME in Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Faisal. Perhaps yes, Pak.
I forgot to inform you that under the Omnibus Law, also government provide free certification for halal for SMEs.
Halal, yes.
This is the new under the omnibus law. Government provide this halal certification fee for SMEs. Thank you.
And also certain easier requirements for SME to, for example, establish a company or to obtain their licenses under the omnibus law.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Pak Adhi. Pak Faisal, perhaps just a follow-up question. In one of your presentation, you mentioned that the majority of investment made in Indonesia is in Java and particularly in Banten. And I assume that the focus on investment in Java is because, of course, the majority of Indonesian population live in Java. And in terms of logistics and access is also easier in Java compared to other provinces. And the focus in Banten is perhaps because that's where most of the industrial zone or a special economic zone located. But you also mentioned that there is a push to increase investment in the eastern part of Indonesia. So in terms of creating the appropriate environment or infrastructure, what are the support that the government is creating there? Is it making easier access in terms of the infrastructure, preparing the logistic change in order for foreign investment to want to invest in the eastern part of Indonesia? Pak Faisal.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, thank you, Mrs. Moderator. Based on the data, the Thailand investor majority choose Java, as I mentioned earlier. It's because majority is chemical and pharmaceutical industry. And also trade usually choose Jakarta because, as you also mentioned, the population of Indonesia is a majority in Java Island because the infrastructure is better in the Java, and also the market is there also in Java. But the government have to spread the economic growth not only in Java or in the western part of Indonesia. But how about the eastern part of Indonesia? Because like Sulawesi, Maluku, Papua, they have a lot of opportunity. But as you mentioned earlier, also the lack of infrastructure also a good opportunity itself. Because we need infrastructure like airport, seaport, and also power generation there, and road, railway to support the investment. But I think the characteristic of Indonesia is quite different with other countries. For example, Indonesia is the largest archipelagic country. We have more than 17,000 islands compared to China, or maybe China is a big country, gigantic, like in one big land. So the characteristic is different when you want to invest to Indonesia compared to China. In China, maybe you can build a huge power generation in the middle of the continent, and then with the cable to the north, to the east, to the west, and others. But in Indonesia, we need more, small and medium-sized power generation, but for each island. So this is a different kind of opportunity to promote to the investor in other countries. Whether they want to build, we don't need a big airport or big seaport, but enough for for boat, for fishing boat, and also transportation boat from each island to another. Maybe we need to promote that. And also with tax allowance itself, tax allowance is given to the investor who want to invest outside of Java. So we give more incentive if the investor want to invest outside Java Island. So I think the government will be more than happy if the investor invest in eastern part of Indonesia, and of course we will facilitate them with the licensing, and then with the others with the land acquisition and whatever they need. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Faisal. Yes, as you correctly point out, Indonesia has a unique, perhaps geographical challenge, but that unique geographical challenge also poses an opportunity in terms of the market, for example, domestic aviation market. Right? Currently, with the restriction on international travel, there's an opportunity for domestic travel. So there's an opportunity there for certain aviation company, airlines company, if they are able to address not just aviation, but also, as you mentioned, shipping, obviously, to provide efficient, quick, and reliable shipping services to all of the islands in Indonesia. Thank you, Pak. Perhaps my last question to Mrs. Napat in relation to making investment into Thailand. As you mentioned in one of your slides in the presentation, there are incentives, both tax incentive, non-tax incentive. Perhaps you can elaborate a little more that during this pandemic, obviously, with the restriction of travel, businessmen from Indonesia could not just come to Thailand and discuss potential joint venture with potential Thai partners. Is there any special measure by the Board of Investment of Thailand to facilitate this kind of perhaps business matching between Indonesian businesses and Thai businesses?
Sorry, Ibu, my internet was down now, so I'm using my cell phone. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes,
sorry.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, actually now we provide a webinar for the meeting right now for all the, before this month, all the event we postponed until by the end of this year. And now is we just begin to make the, face-to-face communication with the company or the person who visit our office. And most of them now, like 50% that we still provide by the webinar or Zoom meeting right now. And we will see by early next year that what we're gonna do more on, how can I say, into like face-to-face or the event that can launch in Thailand. So let's see early of next year. Yeah. I'm sorry for my communication.
No, it is all right, but we can hear you clearly.
Oh, okay. Also, you can hear from the masjid also, right?
Yes, the background,
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Bu Napat.
Thank you.
If there are no other questions, I don't see any other question in the chat box or from the YouTube stream. I would like to conclude our session today. First of all, by the presentation from all of the panelists that we have today, we recognize that the value of investment both from Thailand to Indonesia and from Indonesia to Thailand is still quite relatively modest, and obviously there are room for improvement to increase this value of investment. And there are certain sectors that are the priority for both government. There are agriculture, maritime, manufacture, which include food and beverage, automotive, and also pharmaceutical. And for pharmaceutical, it is obviously going to be a very big sector going forward with the pandemic, with people needing more medicine, health supplements, vitamins, and all medical needs as well. So there's an opportunity for collaboration and taking into account certain similarity between Indonesia and Thailand in terms of the taste of the people, in terms of the sectors that are the strength for both countries. There's an opportunity for collaboration on how to match all of each of these strengths to be able to cooperate in the form of either joint ventures between Thai and Indonesian companies, or Indonesian company making investment into Thailand and Thailand companies making investment into Indonesia. During the pandemics, the challenges also require us to utilize fully and be innovative with digital economy. Of course, the e-commerce will continue to play and become increasingly important even after the pandemic is over and there's no longer social restriction. People way of life will change in terms on how they work from home, how children are going to study from home, and these are all the challenges and opportunities that needs to be addressed. I would also would like to highlight for potential investors that are interested to continue this collaboration, because of course this session is only the opening or the first step for meeting both the Indonesian and the Thai investors and businesses. So both the BKPM and also the Board of Investment of Thailand are here ready to help you. So please free to contact to be able to reach out for more information or if you have further questions. Lastly, I would like to thank all the panelists for sharing their valuable time. Of course, all of our distinguished panelists are very busy, and I thank you to be able to share your time for almost 3 hours this morning. To share your time, to share your expertise, to share your experience. I'm sure all of the participants, including myself, consider that as a very valuable sharing of experience and expertise. So thank you so much. With that, I conclude this session today, and I would like to return to the MC. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moderator. And for closing remarks, I would like to invite our Director for Southeast Asian Affairs, Ambassador Denny Abdi.
Thank you, everyone. This is not really a closing remark, just a vote of thanks on behalf of the Foreign Ministry of Indonesia. I would like to thank our moderator, Ibu Arisia Pusponegoro, for your role to facilitate the discussion today. I would like also to thank the Foreign Ministry of Thailand, the Ambassador of Thailand in Indonesia, our Sajid Affairs in Bangkok, and all teams that supporting this event. To all the speakers, thank you very much for your input today. I would like also to highlight the message from our Vice Minister, Bapak Mahendra Siregar, that Indonesia and Thailand should work together even more during this pandemic COVID-19. We should look beyond competition. We know that in some products, Indonesia and Thailand are competitors, but when we look to the ASEAN vision, I think we should do more and even can facilitate collaboration between the two countries. And on this sector, exactly where the two countries can work together. I think that's all from me. Once again, thank you everyone and look forward for more collaboration and partnership in the future.
Thank you, Excellency. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the concluding remarks from our director concludes the Indonesia-Thailand Business Forum for today. I wish to thank the moderator and all speakers, excellencies, and all participants. We wish you all the very best. Thank you and goodbye.
Okay.